The night changed the moment Milena opened her eyes. It was not sudden, it was not violent, it was quiet, like a breath held for too long and finally released. Across distant lands, creatures of darkness paused. Ancient beings who had forgotten fear felt something tighten inside their dead hearts. Milena stood on the highest tower of the Black Citadel. Below her, the city stretched like a living organism. Streets twisted like veins. Lamps glowed like weak stars. Millions of lives moved beneath her feet, unaware that the night itself was watching them. She remembered when fear had lived inside her. That memory felt foreign now. Her cloak moved without wind. Shadows gathered around her as if drawn by instinct. They no longer obeyed the moon. They obeyed her. Milena raised her hand. Somewhere far away, a man woke from sleep, his heart racing. In another city, a woman dropped to her knees, unable to explain the sudden weight in her chest. In the deep underground, an ancient vampire opened his eyes and whispered her name. Milena closed her fingers. The sensation stopped. She did not smile. Power no longer excited her. It burdened her. Behind her footsteps echoed on stone. "You should not stand alone," Lucian said. Milena did not turn. "I am never alone," she replied. Lucian stopped a few steps away. Once, he had been a weapon sent to end her existence. Now he was bound to her fate in ways neither of them fully understood. His eyes, once filled with command, now carried doubt. "The council is dead," he said. "I know," Milena answered. "Their followers are afraid. Some are gathering armies. Others are running." He hesitated. "And the humans are learning." That made her turn. "Learning what?" she asked. Lucian met her gaze. "The council is dead," he said. "I know," Milena answered. "Their followers are afraid. Some are gathering armies. Others are running." He hesitated. "And the humans are learning." That made her turn. "Learning what?" she asked. Lucian met her gaze. "That monsters can rule." Milena looked back at the city. "They always have," she said quietly. A bell rang in the distance, then another. Signals passed from tower to tower. An alarm. Lucian stiffened. They found the outer gate. Milena stepped forward. The night bent. They were suddenly standing at the gates of the city. No wind. No sound of movement. Just arrival. Hundreds of torches burned beyond the walls. Steel reflected firelight. Human voices trembled between courage and terror. At their center stood a man in dark armor. Armen Vale. He raised his head slowly, as if he felt her before he saw her. "Queen of Night," he called, "I came to speak." Milena descended from the wall, her feet touching the ground without sound. "You came with weapons," she said. "I came with truth," Armand replied. "And with something you have forgotten." Milena tilted her head. "Enlighten me." Armand's eyes did not leave hers. Mercy. For the first time in years, something old stirred in her chest. Not hunger, not rage, memory. She remembered a girl dragged through a village. She remembered fear. She remembered begging for death. Lucian stepped forward. "This is a mistake," he warned Armand. Armand smiled. "History will decide that." He raised his hand. The ground trembled. Symbols ignited beneath the soil, burning white and gold. Ancient technology, holy science, traps designed for gods who bled. Milena looked down at the light touching her feet, and for the first time since her awakening, she felt resistance. Her eyes darkened. "You have prepared well," she said. "I had years," Armand answered. Milena lifted her gaze. "Then watch closely," she said softly. "You are about to learn what eternity looks like." The night screamed. Part 2. The Hunter and the Queen. The light beneath the ground spread slowly, like veins of fire waking from sleep. Symbols crawled outward, precise and cruel. Milena felt the pressure tighten around her ankles. Not pain, resistance. Armen Vale watched her carefully. "You feel it," he said. For the first time, the night does not answer immediately. Milena lifted her foot. The ground cracked. The symbol shattered beneath her step. Gasps rose from the human lines. Fear shifted into disbelief. Lucian turned sharply toward her. "Be careful," he warned. Milena did not look at him. "He wants me careful," she said. "That means he planned for everything else." Armand smiled thinly. "I planned for legends," he replied. I planned for monsters. He raised his arm. The torches went out at once. Darkness swallowed the field. Human soldiers cried out. Steel clashed blindly. Milena closed her eyes. The darkness welcomed her. It folded around her like silk. She moved, not forward, not backward, everywhere. A scream, then silence. Another scream. Lucian drew his blade. Silver light cut through shadow. Milena, he shouted. She appeared beside him. Blood marked her fingers. Her expression was calm. He is testing us, she said, and learning. Armand's voice echoed unseen. Good, he said, so are we. The ground erupted. Chains of light burst upward, wrapping around Milena's arms. She looked toward the darkness where Armand stood. You hunt queens, she said, but you think like prey. For the first time, Armand Vale did not smile. The battlefield fell into uneasy silence. Smoke drifted low across broken stone. Torches lay dead in the dirt. Human soldiers backed away, gripping weapons with shaking hands. They had come to hunt a monster. They found a sovereign. Milena stood unmoving. Her presence pressed on the air like a coming storm. Lucian rose slowly from the ground. Blood traced his temple. He met her eyes. This ends badly, he said. Milena did not deny it. It ends truthfully, she replied. Armand Vale stepped into the moonlight. His armor was cracked. His breath was heavy, yet his gaze remained steady. You hesitate, he said. That is still human of you. Milena's jaw tightened. You mistake memory for mercy, she answered. Armand gestured behind him. Figures emerged from the shadows. Men and women, young and old, villagers bound by glowing sigils. Lucian swore under his breath. You brought innocence, he said. I brought leverage, Armand replied. The captives trembled. Some cried. Some stared at Milena in awe. One child met her gaze. Silver eyes reflected silver light. Milena felt something fracture, a thin crack through eternity. Release them, she said. Armand shook his head. Choose, he answered. Queen or monster. The night held its breath. Shadows gathered at Milena's feet. They waited, not commanded. Inviting Lucian stepped closer. Whatever you do, he whispered, do not lose yourself. Milena closed her eyes. She remembered warmth, she remembered fear, she remembered love, then she remembered power. Her eyes opened. The shadows moved, not toward the captives. Toward Armand. They rose like wings behind her. You wanted a choice, she said. This is it. Armand's expression hardened. For the first time, doubt touched his voice. What have you done? Milena stepped forward. The shadows struck without sound. They wrapped Armand's soldiers like living chains. Weapons fell. Courage broke. Cries echoed across the field, then died in choking silence. Armand staggered back. He raised a device, its core burning white. Stay back, he warned. This ends gods. Milena did not slow. So did faith, she replied. Lucian felt the air twist. The device hummed, feeding on light itself. Milena stepped closer. The glow crawled up her arm. Her skin darkened, veins traced in silver fire. Pain flashed across her face. Brief, real. Lucian moved. Too fast, too late. He stood between them. The device discharged. Light tore the night. Lucian screamed. Milena caught him before he fell. His blood stained her hands. Why? She whispered. Lucian smiled weakly. Because you still feel, he said. Armand stared in shock. You would die for her. Lucian met his eyes. I already did once. Milena lifted her head. The world dimmed. Stars vanished. The moon cracked. Shadows flooded the sky. Milena stood. Lucian lay still. Her voice shook the ground. Mercy has a price, she said. Tonight you pay it. Armand dropped to one knee. Fear finally owned him. The night bleeds. Silence followed the scream, not peace, absence. Milena knelt beside Lucian. His chest did not rise. His eyes were closed, calm as untouched water. She pressed her hand against his heart. Nothing answered. The night recoiled. Shadows withdrew, trembling like wounded animals. Milena lifted her head. Her silver eyes dimmed, then burned black. Look at me, she said softly. The world listened. Stone cracked. Air folded inward. Armand crawled backward. dragging broken armor. You wanted proof, Milena continued. You wanted limits. She stood. Lucian remained still. This is what happens when you find them. The sky tore open. Darkness poured down like inverted rain. Human soldiers dropped their weapons and fled. Some never stood again. Armin screamed, not in pain, in understanding. Stop, he begged. Milena raised one finger. The darkness paused. You do not beg queens, she said. You beg mercy. She lowered her hand. The darkness obeyed. Armand vanished into shadow and silence. When the night settled, nothing remained of him. Milena returned to Lucian. She touched his face. Do not leave me, she whispered. The night held its breath. A pulse answered. Faint, fragile. Lucian's fingers moved. Milena laughed once. It broke her. Lucian breathed. Slow, uncertain. Each breath pulled shadows toward his chest. Milena felt the cost before she saw it. Her silver fire dimmed. Something ancient shifted inside her blood. She held Lucian close. Stay, she whispered. The night answered with silence. Then pain. A memory tore free. Her mother's face, gone. Her name, gone. The warmth of sunlight on skin, gone. Milena gasped. Lucian opened his eyes. They were not his. They reflected night like deep mirrors. Milena, he said, voice changed. She pulled back. What did it take? She asked. Lucian rose slowly. Shadows followed him like loyal beasts. It took what you would not give, he answered. Milena felt the truth settle. To save him, she paid with herself. The battlefield faded. Cities slept again. The world believed the threat had passed. It had not. High above, ancient eyes opened. The first night was awake. The air grew heavier, not with darkness, with age. Time itself bent, as if remembering. Milena felt it before she saw him. A presence older than hunger, older than crowns. The ground split. From the Laocrack night took form. A figure rose, tall and still, eyes like endless sky. No color, no mercy. Lucian stepped back. Shadows recoiled from the being. That is not night, he whispered. That is origin. The first night looked at Milena, daughter, it said. The word crushed the air. Milena stood firm. I am no one's, she answered. You are mine, the first night replied. And everything you command returns to me. Cities flickered. Thrones cracked. Vampires across the world fell to their knees. Milena felt the pull. The crown resisted. For the first time, she was not alone in the dark. The first night did not move. Movement was beneath it. Reality adjusted instead. Stones sank into the ground. Walls bowed inward. The sky dimmed, as if stars feared to watch. Milena felt pressure against her thoughts. Memories tried to slip away. Names, faces, promises. She clenched her fists. The crown burned, not heat will. You are fading, the first night said. You were never meant to endure this long. Milena stepped forward. Each step shattered invisible resistance. You made me, she said. But you do not own what you abandon. Lucian moved beside her. His shadow stretched, touching hers. They did not merge. They aligned. The first night observed this quietly. Interesting, it said. Across the world, vampires screamed. Some turned to ash. Others hardened, becoming something new. Milena felt them all. Their fear, their loyalty, their defiance. I am not your echo, she said. I am your consequence. The ground cracked again. A pulse rippled outward, breaking ancient bindings. The first night tilted its head. For the first time, curiosity replaced certainty. The first night did not move. Movement was beneath it. Reality adjusted instead. Stones sank into the ground. Walls bowed inward. The sky dimmed, as if stars feared to watch. Milena felt pressure against her thoughts. Memories tried to slip away. Names, faces, promises. She clenched her fists. The crown burned, not heat. Well, you are fading, the first night said. You were never meant to endure this long. Milena stepped forward. Each step shattered invisible resistance. You made me, she said. But you do not own what you abandon. Lucian moved beside her. His shadow stretched, touching hers. They did not merge. They aligned. The first night observed this quietly. Interesting, it said. Across the world, vampires screamed. Some turned to ash. Others hardened, becoming something new. Milena felt them all. Their fear, their loyalty, their defiance. "I am not your echo," she said. "I am your consequence." The ground cracked again. A pulse rippled outward, breaking ancient bindings. The first night tilted its head. For the first time, curiosity replaced certainty. The eclipse began without warning. Moonlight thinned, stretched into a ring of ash. Night did not darken, it sharpened. Milena felt the crown pull against her spine, not to fall, to rise. "Do you feel it?" the first night asked. All thrones answer to absence. Milena answered by moving. She lifted her hand. Cities far away felt a pause in time. Windows froze, mid-glow. Breaths stalled, hearts waited. They answered to care, she said, and to choice. The eclipse deepened. Vampires across continents felt their blood turn cold. Some fled to ground. Others stood taller. Lucian stepped forward. His voice carried, steady and altered. "If origin claims all," he said, "nothing ever changes." The first night regarded him. "You are a wound," it replied. A borrowed echo. Lucian did not flinch. "Echoes travel," he said, "they teach." Milena felt alignment, not domination, resonance. She pressed her palm to the crown. The first blow was silence. Not impact, intention. The first night lifted a hand, space folded inward. Distances lost meaning. Milena felt the pull tear at her balance. She anchored herself to every vow sworn. Millions of whispers steadied her stance. "You borrowed belief," the first night said. "Belief builds worlds," Milena answered. Lucian moved first. His blade sang, cutting nothing yet changing everything. A line appeared across the sky. The eclipse shuddered. Shadows collided like breaking waves. Milena advanced. Each step forged ground where none existed. The first night struck. Time fractured. Moments stacked atop moments. Milena chose one. She entered it. Pain found her. She endured. "You cannot end me," the first night said. "I can replace you," Milena replied. She raised both hands. The crown answered. Not alone, with the world. Blood vows ignited across continents. Ancient lines broke. New lines formed. The first night faltered. Only a breath. Enough. Lucian struck again. This time, the night bled light. The light did not last. Victories never do. Silence returned, heavy with consequence. Milena felt the costs arrive without warning. Her breath shortened. The crown dimmed, not in power, but in warmth. "Every ascent bleeds," the first night said. "Choose the wound." Milena closed her eyes. She saw the girl she once was. Human, fragile, laughing at dawn. She opened her eyes. "Take that," she said. The night inhaled. A scream echoed, not from her mouth, from memory. Across the world, mirrors shattered. Names faded from old graves. Lucian reached her. His hand trembled before finding hers. "Stay," he said. Milena smiled. Smaller, colder. "I am staying," she said. "Just not the same." The first night recoiled, not in fear, in loss. "You severed yourself," it whispered. "I freed myself," Milena replied. The crown flared once more. Sharper, darker. Not inherited, chosen. The night bowed. For the first time. Dawn tried to arrive. It failed. Not stopped. Ignored. Milena stood alone where echoes settled. The crown rested, quiet but awake. Across cities, vampires rose slowly. Some felt relief, others felt fear, all felt change. Ancient councils gathered in silence. No summons were sent. They already knew. Lucian watched her from a careful distance. He saw the difference. "Not absence, direction. They will test you," he said. "They always do." Milena nodded. "Let them," she replied. The night remembers who chose it. A ripple crossed the world. Old laws loosened. Borders thinned. Hunters hesitated. Oracles went blind. Children dreamed of silver fire. The first night retreated, not defeated. Watching, learning. Milena felt it still. A shadow behind shadows. She turned to Lucian. "This is not peace," she said. "It is preparation." He inclined his head. Together, they stepped forward. The world shifted to make room. The throne did not wait. It never had. It reshaped itself around intention. Milena felt it form behind her spine. Not a chair, a presence. Stone rose, then dissolved. What remained was will. Ancient lords gathered, not summoned, drawn. Their eyes burned with old authority. You broke the order, one said. You were the order, Milena replied. Silence followed, heavy, respectful. Lucian watched the lines between them tighten. No blades were drawn, words were sharper. What do you rule? A queen asked. Milena considered, not lands, not blood. I rule the night that chooses, she said. A tremor ran through the chamber. Some stepped back, others knelt, not in fear. In clarity, the throne settled, not above, among. The first night stirred, far away, alert. The game had changed. The night did not whisper as it once did in legends. It pressed itself into veins and memory, heavy with ancient hunger. Milena felt the demand coil through her spine, slow and deliberate. Somewhere far away, a throne collapsed, not of stone, but of ancestry and oath. Bloodlines burned like forgotten pages, their names erased, before they could scream. It begins, Lucian said, his voice calm by habit, his eyes betraying fear. The first night moved without crossing distance, appearing inside dreams and unfinished prayers. Allies hesitated, questioning their faith. Enemies smiled, sensing permission. Milena raised her hand, feeling the crown resist, not in defiance, but in expectation. Not yet, she said, her tone steady, her pulse not. You promised choice, the night replied, folding around her. Words. I promised consequence. A city drowned in silence, streets frozen mid-breath, vampires asleep forever. Hunters lost direction, blades rusting before reaching flesh. Lucian stepped forward, offering himself fully, without theatrics. Take me, he said, knowing the weight. The world froze again. Milena turned slowly, every bond screaming. No, she answered, not loud, but absolute. The first night laughed, a sound shaped like loss. Then choose again, it said patiently. Milena closed her eyes, feeling every vow unpaid, every future narrowing. When she opened them, blood traced the crown, alive and waiting. The night leaned closer, certain now that something would break. Time hesitated, as if unsure which way to fall. Milena stood still, yet every thought raced ahead of her. The night waited, patient in its cruelty, confident in outcome. Lucian remained beside her, offering nothing now but presence and truth. This is the moment, the first night said. Its voice layered with all past endings. Milena felt the crown weigh, not on her head, but on her future. She saw paths unfold, each demanding blood, each closing doors. One future held power, absolute and eternal, ruling through fear. Another held loss, sharp and irreversible, yet free of chains. Her breath steadied. She remembered laughter, fragile and human, lost but not erased. I will not replace you, she said at last, her voice calm, her resolve burning. The night stiffened. Then you will weaken, it replied, almost curious. Milena lifted the crown, feeling it resist, feeling it understand. No, she answered, I will divide you. The crown split its light, silver fire branching through the dark. Time screamed. Moments shattered, scattering outcomes across reality. The first night recoiled, not wounded, but changed. Lucian felt the shift, history rewriting itself around his breath. Milena lowered her hands, blood gone from the crown. Choice sealed forever. The night remained, but it no longer ruled alone. The world did not end. It inhaled, uncertain, reshaping its fear. The divided night settled, no longer whole, no longer singular. Milena stood at the center of it, not elevated, but unavoidable. The first night watched, fractured into echoes, each less certain than the last. You have changed the rule of origin, it said, its voice thinning. Milena answered slowly, choosing each word as a boundary. Origin ends when choice begins, she said, steady and final. Lucian felt the aftermath ripple through him, a future unfastened from prophecy. Councils dissolved, crowns dimmed, ancient vows released into silence. Some vampires wept, others laughed, all felt lighter and afraid. The night bent, not in worship, but in recognition. The throne took shape, not above the world, but within it, shared by will. Milena touched it once, enough to seal what could not be undone. I do not rule you, she said to the dark. I stand with you. The divided night agreed, closing around her like a crown of stars. Far away, the first night faded, not erased, but remembered. Dawn arrived at last, thin and cautious, allowed to exist. Milena did not smile. She endured. And the world learned how to endure with her. The world did not end. It inhaled, uncertain, reshaping its fear. The divided night settled, no longer whole, no longer singular. Milena stood at the center of it, not elevated, but unavoidable. The first night watched, fractured into echoes, each less certain than the last. You have changed the rule of origin, it said, its voice thinning. Milena answered slowly, choosing each word as a boundary. Origin ends when choice begins, she said, steady and final. Lucian felt the aftermath ripple through him, a future unfastened from prophecy. Councils dissolved, crowns dimmed, ancient vows released into silence. Some vampires wept, others laughed, all felt lighter and afraid. The night bent not in worship, but in recognition. The throne took shape, not above the world, but within it, shared by will. Milena touched it once, enough to seal what could not be undone. I do not rule you, she said to the dark.